I want to talk about productivity and getting things done. I find that the more productive I am and the more things I get done in the day, the more in a roll I get. And I just kind of want to get more things done, get more things done. Yeah, it's like you have a rhythm now and you want to just keep it going. And you just feel, it's almost like an addictive high that you get from knocking things off your checklist, right?
Just finishing it.
Yeah, just finishing it, right? Wrapping things up, right? And even when it comes to like doing things around the house, like I like to work with my hands. I was like doing things around the house. I was fixing things, repairing little things like that just needed to get done. And on top of that, I'm building up my garage, right? So I wanted to organize the tools. And I found myself like now until like 10:30, 11 p.m. sitting there with a skill saw, chopping things. And now thinking is like, okay, I should probably stop because I'm going to start to upset the neighbors. Don't necessarily want to do that. But I want to talk about productivity in terms of like the desire and the addictiveness of productivity and why it resonates with some people. And some people, I think they just don't feel that way. Right. So how are you with productivity? Is it like a must for you or like, how do you feel about it?
Yeah. I like to get things off my docket. Like I do want to have free time. Right. So if I can get to the office at 9 a.m. and I know I get all my work done in 4 hours. That's the goal. Right? I'm a goal-oriented person. So when we have that productivity without those goals, and it doesn't matter how if Missy's off at 3 o'clock today, I want to be home at 3 o'clock, right? As long as there's a goal in mind, I can be productive throughout the day. It's hard when there's no goal and you do those same tasks over and over again. Right? The same phone calls over and over again. Same paperwork over and over again. Then you see the productivity drop off.
When it comes to things that don't really feed, let's just say without sounding cheesy, feed the spirit, feed the soul, something that just feels good that you're just like, yeah, that was actually enriching somehow. I accomplished something and I feel good about it. It's not just like a mundane task, like doing the dishes, right? You might not feel too great about doing it, but although cleaning is quite cathartic, I feel like for a lot of people it does a lot of good.
And there's certain cleaning that's good cleaning. And then there's certain like bad cleaning, right? And the good cleaning is something like vacuuming and mopping the floors. Right? Wiping the glass down. I like cleaning glass.
Okay.
Right? Because it's satisfying.
When you get it perfect.
I'm not really a dishes guy. I'm not really, because when I do the dishes, what I think about is next time I cook, I'm not going to use as many dishes, and I'm going to cut corners because now I have to clean the garlic press. And I don't want to clean the garlic press. I'll just use chopped garlic from the jar. But it's better to use the garlic press. Right? So that's why Missy does the dishes. I don't do dishes.
Just keep that stuff separate. No, and that's where the productivity, the desire to be productive weighs differently with different people in terms of maybe like what speaks to them. Like, for example, if you have a free day on a Saturday, I don't know, I'm assuming this will be different between you and me, but like, what do you like to do if you have a free time on a Saturday? What time do you wake up?
On a Saturday? It depends what I do on a Friday night. So there's sometimes where I'm sitting out in the backyard with Missy for, all night long. And then there's sometimes that I go to bed early. Saturday morning we have nothing planned. What it looks like for us is we're going to the grocery store. We might go to Costco. And maybe we'll go to a furniture store.
And what time does that start? Because grocery stores and Costco and whatever, it doesn't open until like what, 10, 11 o'clock?
No, so free Saturday, I'm having my coffee at home. I read the paper every day, but I read on my laptop. But on the weekends, I get the spec delivered to the house, so I get the paper copy for Saturday and Sunday. So I get to read the paper, have my coffee, and then we'll leave the house. Because I don't get to do that during the week.
And what time do you wake up, though, to start that?
10:30.
Okay, so Okay, so you'll sleep in a little bit.
I'll sleep in for a little bit. Now, Missy, different than me, right? I have the luxury of sometimes I wake up later than other days. Missy wakes up, today at 5:30. So when it comes for the weekend for her, she definitely wants to sleep in. And especially, when I get home at 5, 6 o'clock on a Friday, I want to chill in the backyard, relax for a little bit. So I'm not rushing to bed at 10:30. I'm staying up late. So then she's staying up late. So that means that Saturday we're sleeping in. With the lines and stuff at Costco or whatever. That's just part of Costco. That's part of going to the grocery store. There's no big deal.
You have that routine. So what time do you wake up on a work day?
8:30.
Actually, that goes up pretty tight. So you don't have like a long morning ritual.
No, because I don't stay at home for coffee. And when I wake up, I want a coffee right away. Right? So, there's no ritual. Hop in the shower, leave.
When I compare it, like everybody has a different rhythm of productivity. And in terms of, I'm assuming you go to the grocery store, you go to Costco, that is a form of being productive because you're running off the errands that you need to run and you get those things done. So I realized the other day that, and I realized this by talking to my girl, that I have a desire to treat the weekend kind of like a work day, but for personal stuff. During a work day, I will still wake up at about between 6 and 7, I'll wake up. And I will do some stuff that I need to in the morning, start slow, and then go to work, do my thing, and then just kind of like track things down like that. And on the weekend, sometimes when I wake up at like 10, 11, 12, I feel like, man, the day's just pretty much done. You start the day slow, and I feel like, man, there's things that I wanted to do for myself that now I don't have time to do. I feel like sometimes the desire of productivity, at least for me, it makes me want to just do things for myself as professionally as I do things for work.
You would be way more productive on a Saturday than me.
Yeah, okay.
And that's okay, right? I do want to, I work a stressful job. I want to, when it comes to weekends, I do want to relax.
Yeah, and shut down.
I do want to shut down. I don't want to be running around and trying to get everything done before I go home.
Yeah.
Right? I don't like that. It's not a good way to enjoy your weekends.
Yeah. So then how do you balance that productivity?
Me personally right now, it's been very hard.
Like, because on the weekends, obviously personal stuff that you want to do.
It's summer now. Busy summer for me. I'm getting married in a month. It's very hard for even to go to the grocery store right now, right? Yeah. There's so much things that are going on. There's always, it seems like every weekend there's something happening. Yeah, sure, you have to push that productivity up a level so you get everything done, and then still go to whoever's having you over for dinner, whoever wants to see you, wherever you're going. It's not the best to be productive on the weekends. Even talking about it, like, I just want to sit at home. Yeah. I want to relax. That's how I want to enjoy at least a Sunday. Give me a Sunday.
Okay, so yeah, you know what? Maybe the question shouldn't be like, how do you like to be productive? It's like, how do you like to spend your free time? Because the truth is that how one chooses to spend their free time is, I think, reflective or indicative of what's happening, of what they're doing in life in general, right? Yeah. Like, I don't know, but probably to a degree, their personality too. Because I don't know, if I was getting married in a month, I'd feel like I have like a big checklist of things, and every day I'd want to be tackling it.
Yeah.
Every day I'd want to be tackling it. Yeah. And I feel like that would be, I guess that can make things a little stressful.
Super stressful. But yeah, that's how it has to be done. There's no other way to keep track of what's getting done and what's not getting done. Key for that is definitely a spreadsheet, a shared spreadsheet with a spouse if you're getting married, and sharing the roles and responsibilities of, who's doing what. And we did that in the beginning, and now it's more of like Missy just telling me what to do. And it's actually works out way better than that way. Just tell me where I need to go. Tell me, what I need, where I need to be. And everything will work out great. Yeah. So
you just show up.
Just show up. Yeah, just show up. Give me your opinion. Don't be too rough on the opinion. I'm a guy that always gives a strong opinion. So that's what I would say. But when you ask me my free time, like before we decided to get married and all my weekends were revolved around that, it would be, I would go camping every weekend, even if I'm not leaving from the city, right? If we work long, we work till 6 o'clock, whatever. If we don't leave the city till 7, I'm at least going somewhere an hour away.
Yeah.
I just need to get out of the city for 2 days. That's how I want to spend my free time. I want to spend my free time on a river somewhere, even if I'm not fishing all day, at least looking at the river.
That reflects on people's mental states too. Like when people decide, like some people find driving stressful. Other people find driving cathartic. Some people like the idea of driving out of the city. I just see the time sitting in the car in the traffic, and it drives me crazy, right? So I think people look at these things through a different lens, and it's a different type of meditation for each.
True. Yeah. Some people can't stand camping.
Yeah.
I can't stand it, right? And it's like something that I look forward to every weekend. Some people can't.
When you go camping, what do you do? Do you like campfire and like? Do you glamp or do you camp?
So we're big at real camping. We've done some epic camping adventures. We always camp without power, but we have some solar panels and stuff like that, so we have enough power.
Oh, you RV.
And now we bought the RV. So we didn't buy a nice expensive RV. We bought like a starter RV, a cheap RV, rough around the edges.
Yeah.
And that takes us wherever we need to go, and it's it's not the prettiest thing, but it works, and it's a good time, and it allows us to when it's raining on a Saturday, we see that on the forecast. Before, we wouldn't go camping, we would stay home. But now with the RV, we would still go camping. We would just stay in the RV. So it adds that little bit of luxury. And you would say having RV versus tent is luxury, but for us, it's still being able to escape the city.
My brother loves that, actually. He used to buy these like pop-up camper vans, camper trailer things, and he used to take them out, and like him and his friends would all go do that, and he'd be the only guy everybody else would have tents, and he'd be the only guy who would have the pop-up thing, and everybody would sleep on actual beds inside the camper, and they would just be good. And that's a way of escaping it too. And everybody has a different ritual when they go there too. They when you go camping, you chill. The people like to drink their coffee, do this. But me, for some reason, I'm the opposite. I go there and I start working. I'm like building the fort. right? Like I'm chopping firewood immediately. I'm setting things up. I'm clearing the perimeter, making sure that everything's okay. I don't know why I feel the need to do this. And it's the same thing with parties even, I noticed. With parties, when we used to host them, for me, part of the funnest part of it was setting it all up. Setting up the party for me oftentimes was more fun than the actual party itself. For me. Yeah, because I don't know. I enjoyed getting everybody together. I enjoyed like putting things into motion. I enjoyed figuring out what people are going to need and then seeing it in motion. But then when I had to actually participate in the party, that felt like work. That felt like stress for me.
Yeah, see, that's how we're the opposite, I guess. Because I'm the guy that just loves to show up and party and then leave.
Everything's ready,
Yeah, like I don't want to ever have a party at my house.
Yeah.
I'm not that guy.
Yeah, see, I used to host tons of house parties when I was younger,
No, not that guy at all.
In terms of weekends, you know, sometimes I see people, especially now summer, right? People want to do decks, fences, all kinds of things, right? And sometimes I see people getting quotes for different types of things that they want to build. Like one of my dad's friends, he wants to build a cinder block fence-ish retaining wall. It's like it's something all in between. So he actually wants to build something to give himself separation from the neighbor, but there's like some soil that's higher on the other end. So he wants to build it out of cinder block so it doesn't end up eroding onto the fence. I'm like, okay, fine. But it's the kind of thing where if I've noticed a lot of people who want to do something like build a fence, do a small little wall like that, they need to hire people to do it themselves for a couple of reasons. One, they either don't know how to do it, or two, they feel they don't have the time, or that it's too hard to do. And then they ask somebody how much it's going to cost to do it, and it's like, well, it's going to cost you about $6,000. Yeah. It's very expensive. And it's the type of thing where whenever I needed to do something like this, for me, building a fence was having a couple of friends over for a weekend, a couple cases of beer, some pizzas, and you build a fence. Yeah. And that's how you build a fence, right? Yeah. A couple cases of beer, some pizzas, and that's how you build a fence, right? That's pretty much it in a nutshell. And you buy the lumber, right? I mean, how hard is it? It's not that hard, but people are so detached. And I think people have a negative stigma to the idea of work. But is it work, right? For me, it doesn't feel like work. It feels like, you know, you hit things with a hammer and you talk to your friends and have some pizza. And
that's because you grew up with Spiros, your dad, right? That's why you think like that, right? It's just a different type of growing up, right? I'm the same way. Like my dad would never ever pay for someone to come do anything like that in his house. Doesn't matter if the guy, you know, wins the lottery, right? He would never pay someone to do that.
Yeah.
Right, he would, you know, a couple cases of beer, and you know, him and my brother and me would come over. Right, doesn't matter how rich, you know, my father ever, you know, if he wins the lottery, that's what's going to happen.
Yeah, and that's where the balance comes in. So there lays a little bit of a delicate balance. My brother's like that too. He doesn't like paying anybody to do anything, especially around the house. Yeah. Largely, he doesn't like strangers or people that are not like close coming into the house to do anything. Right, so he's just like, I'll do everything myself. I don't want people coming into my home. I'm like, okay, I guess that kind of makes sense. But the caveat there is that when you pay some other people to do it, they do it with a degree of professionalism. It will actually get done. Because how many things are around the house that you're just like, okay, I'll get to it, that people don't get to for God knows how long.
And there's a difference between paying someone to do it off Facebook and Kijiji and paying an actual professional. If your toilet backs up, what do you do? Right? If the toilet backs up for me, I'll plunge it. That doesn't work. I got a little snake in the basement and I'll snake it.
Yeah.
Right? The real thing to do should be like call a plumber and pay the $150 and have them come in and
Is that the real thing to do, or is the real thing to do it yourself?
Yeah, I think the real thing to do is like do it yourself, but you know, the proper thing to do is probably just, you know, call the plumber. But for some reason, I guess, and that would be our
That's a real city boy thing to do. Let's be real.
That would be a real city boy thing to do. Yes,
yeah.
Is call a plumber.
Yeah. Real city boy thing to do is call the plumber, right?
Yes.
And this is where, like, for me, if there's stuff to fix around the house, like I do find it kind of meditative to fix things around the house or to do little pieces of work around the house. Like for me, organizing my garage and putting tools in place and like getting things into a certain order, it's highly meditative for me. I really enjoyed doing that. And even building a fence, something that's, if it's stressful for you, it's not good. Yeah. But like, watch a few YouTube videos, figure out how to do it. You know, have a coffee, drink it slowly.
Yeah, what's the worst that can happen?
Put your hands on your hips and like look at the landscape you're about to transform. Yeah. Right, and get to it.
Yeah. What's the worst that can happen?
Yeah, you know, it's a little crooked maybe. your wife yells at you.
Yeah.
Worst case. Okay, that's a battle you can choose.
But it sounds like you just put up a fence.
Well, when you simplify and you say it like that, it does sound like you just put up a fence. But like, you know, you put up a masterpiece.
Yes.
I was talking to Eugene the other day, and he's also somebody who he likes to hang out and work. Some of my friends, when I get together with them and I start doing some stuff, the first thing they say is, "Why are you working?" I'm just like, "This isn't work." And they say, you know, it's like, "No, you have to do this and this and this." And I'm like, yeah, dude, this isn't really like,
Yeah.
strenuous. I'm not exerting myself. I don't classify this as work. And one of the things that I realized is that the only thing that's different between somebody shooting the shit and doing work, I think it's accomplishing something monetarily. Like, for example, if you're hanging around with your friends and you guys are all talking, and then conceptually you're all having beers, and then conceptually you're talking about, hey, would it be fun to open up a bar? Is that work?
No.
Now, what happens if you actually, with one of those guys, you're actually about to open a bar and you're talking about it? Is that work?
Are we drinking beers?
Yes.
No.
But there is a productivity aspect there that will go from that conversation to the actual opening of your bar.
Until you actually open the bar, then it would be work. But a hearsay and having beers and having conversations, that's not work. If that was work, then I'd be really good at work. So I could have a lot of conversation with beer.
Well, I mean, that's how sometimes I feel about real estate, right? Sometimes we talk about real estate conceptually, and it's a lot of brainstorming, and we talk about all the ways that you can maneuver and leverage and work real estate to your interests. And sometimes people view it as work. Like when I talk about this with my friends, my other friends from high school, for example, sometimes they join in. They're just like, you guys are just talking about work.
Good point. Because, of course, we talk about real estate probably all the time.
And it's casual. It's not work.
You're right. It's not work.
There you go.
So I guess if you're talking about like building a fence, and I was a fence builder, I probably talk about building fences all the time. So then I wouldn't think it's work.
Exactly, right? When it's so natural and it's easy to you, I feel like it's not work. When it's like hard for you and it's challenging, you have to think, you have to like exert mental and physical effort combined. I think that's when it becomes work.
Makes sense.
And I realized when it came to my social circles that when I was hanging around with people, you could tell a lot about the people you're hanging around with by how they respond to you doing something remotely productive. For example, cleaning up the dishes after a meal. Those who offer to help and those who don't.
Yes.
Or, for example, if they're visiting you and you start cleaning something up in your backyard, whether or not they offer to help or they just stand around and watch you. And it tells you a lot about people.
Yeah.
For example, in my family, we're all highly productive people that really like to work with our hands. And if I want to get help from anybody in my family, all I have to do is go and start doing something.
Start
and if
working.
they see me doing it, they're going to jump in and help me do it. And there's other people who will just stand there and watch you. They're great supervisors and managers. Right? But like,
this is a key for whenever I come over to your place. Like once you start doing something, pick up a shovel.
now you know, right?
Yeah.
But no, it's the kind of thing
unwritten rules of Andrew's house.
Dude, you know what? Well, it's funny because at our old property in Toronto there, I remember we invited my aunties over from Singapore, and they were so shocked that after I think they stayed for 1 week, my dad had them painting the balcony. Right? And my dad's joke was that it's in the Bible. After you've stayed over a week, you're no longer a guest. Right? So now you have to work.
They're like trying to leave on like the 6th day. No, stay one more day.
Stay one more day.
Stay one more day. Stay one more day.
I can put you to work, right? So that was funny. But no, but you know what? People then feel work shouldn't be so negatively stigmatized. Work is something that makes you a productive member of a community. And when you're with a couple of people, a productive member of a family.
Work is your key to success. Doesn't matter if you work at Tim Hortons, work at McDonald's, work with us. It doesn't matter where you work. If you can show up to work every day, you will and can be successful.
And I'll tell you right now, all the best friends I've ever had, I have worked with. And it's not through work. I've literally worked with them, whether it's going to the gym and working out, whether it is we were in the army together, or whether it was we went through university, which is a form of work. There has to be something that connects you more than just the simple pleasantries and the passing by of the casual passing of time where you hang around and just drink and just shoot the shit about nothing meaningful, nothing with depth. Work has meaning.
That would be the same thing with a relationship, right? If you were just sitting around drinking beers and talking, shooting the shit, right? You're not going to build a good relationship with a girlfriend, right?
Exactly, right?
It's the same thing. So you need to see how someone reacts when it comes to something like being productive and where they want to go in life, right? And these are, you can see where someone's going to go in life by seeing, a couple key things. And one of the big thing is how productive they can be in an 8-hour time period.
100%. And this is where I find some people, and this might get sensitive, right? But this is where I see some people with their significant others. They will not work on anything together, no projects or anything like that. And then they will work on a puppy or an animal pet of some kind,
Yeah.
or they have a kid.
Yeah.
And that's their project. And that's
Yeah.
their tester. That's their pilot, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, oh man, you could have just done something simple. Like build a fence together.
Now, I don't know about that analogy because me and Missy, one time we tried to build a barbecue and it almost ended everything. So, like, I'm not saying the relationship, like, everything, it was almost over.
Did you-
with that one barbecue, right?
Nah.
So, you know, and that was a couple years ago. That was about 4 years ago, and, you know, it was a long time ago, but I always joke that, yeah, some hands-on stuff people work better together, and some other mental strategy where me and Missy are really good at together.
Yeah.
You know, that's where we can hone in our skills.
Have you ever heard that IKEA is responsible for 40% of the divorces in North America?
I believe it
There you go.
100%.
There you go.
100%.
Assembling that furniture is no joke. People get pissed off,
Yeah.
yell at each other, and
Yeah.
then leave.
Yeah, Missy sees an Allen key, she gets mad at me.
There you go.
She just sees the Allen key.
What are you doing with that?
Yeah.
Don't try to give that to me.
Yeah. We cannot go into IKEA together.
Yeah.
We don't have a prenup, but we do have one stipulation where it's like we cannot assemble furniture.
That's having boundaries and an understanding of each other. That's something that's negotiated, but it's good to then you do something elsewhere. You know, you just say, this is not my thing. We can do that.
Yeah.
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 Exactly.